Okay, so I should not be here. If you look at,
Take a step closer.
take a step closer. Okay,
There you go.
so if you look at where I started and where I've ended, there's no way that that's a straight line. And so I find it interesting to think back over my life, and I can pinpoint specific moments where my trajectory changed. And so this is the story of one of those moments. So I was a psychology major at my local college. Psychology majors have to take statistics, okay? This is completely new. Oh my gosh, I know nothing about statistics. I don't know what this is. So I register when it comes time in the sequence for my statistics class. And I managed to get the most horrific professor ever to teach statistics. It wasn't just that he couldn't teach statistics. He absolutely offended me on a regular basis. The very first day of class, he proceeded to tell us that he would not learn our names, that was too much to expect. But then, over the next couple of class periods, he proceeded to give us nicknames that he did remember and use often all semester long. And so I've always enjoyed clothing. I love clothes. And so I got to be fashion queen for an entire semester. And he used, like I said, often, frequently. And everybody in the class had these nicknames. But I could not learn statistics at all from this professor. And so this is where I stood up for myself. I decided, okay, I'm going to interview the statistics professors. I'm going to find somebody who I can learn statistics from. I'm going to get this. So I made questions, and I went to the office hours. Of course, this awful one was teaching again that semester, but there were two others to pick from. I interviewed them. I registered for the class for the professor that I was positive, this is the professor who can teach me statistics. Well, and this is fate, I showed up to class on the first day. That is not who is teaching the class. It's this completely different person. And I was so angry. And so I managed to sit through that first class. And there is no way to describe what I did at the end of that class. I went up and I threw a fit on this PhD professor. I cannot believe the college has done this to me. I cannot believe my program has done this to me. I interviewed and I picked who I was going to be successful with, and you need to produce a student who you have had in class previously, and I've got questions you have to answer, and you have to do this now. And he, as calmly as could be, he walked out in the hallway, got a former student, I talked to him, and then I asked him some questions. He waited in the class for all of this, and I asked my questions, and then, because I was so angry still, at the end of class, or when I was walking out, I said, I'm going to think about whether I'm going to stay in this class or not. Okay. So I decided to stay in the class. Okay. We get to the first test. Oh my gosh. I have been to every class. I have taken notes. I have read the book. I have done every test, practice question I can find. I have done everything I can think of to prepare for this test. So I take the test. And I get done with it, and I look around, and everybody else is still taking the test. Well, so this doesn't happen to me. And so I walk up, and I hand him the test, and I kind of lean in, and I said, is that it? And he looks at me, and he looks down at my test. He was like, yeah, that's it. So I left. I got a 98. That is worth applause. And so the semester proceeds. Multiple times during the semester, he would stop and look at me and say, I can tell by the look on your face that you don't understand something, that I've lost you somewhere. And he would stop or go back through whatever we were talking about and explain it again until I confirmed I understood it, or I could verbalize my question. And so we get to the final exam. I have to make a 38 on the final exam to maintain my A. I'm going to get an A in statistics. I am super proud of myself, so excited. And so I take the final exam, and I hand it in, and he catches my eye, and he says, "Come see me tomorrow during my office hours." There's no way. Where my head instantly goes, there's no way he's going to give me an A in statistics. There's no way that I've done this. And so I go to, so instantly I must have plagiarized on the final project. That's the only thing that I can think of. I must have plagiarized. Well, let me tell you what, I had been writing research papers at that point since I was in the 7th grade, and I don't know what they teach students now, because I teach them in college, but I knew how to reference, I knew how to not plagiarize. There's no way I've plagiarized on anything, but that was the only thing that I could come up with that would cause me not to get an A in statistics. So I showed up at his office the next day. "Come on in, have a seat." And you are an excellent student, and I really, really enjoyed having you in class. But there is something that you need to know, that you need to understand. And he said, "Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do something, because you can do anything that you set your mind to do." And suddenly, in that one little moment, my world got bigger. And there were so many more opportunities that I could see available to me. That little girl who started out in a tobacco field in South Central Kentucky, and that one moment. And so what I would say is, take those opportunities to stand up for yourself, because you never know how it's going to turn out.